morning. Well, we woke up this morning to a new result in our presidential election. Putting a little oil on my hands. Some people are very happy and some are very sad, which is going to be in any election. Every single election year, there's got to be a winner and there's got to be a loser. There's always going to be people upset about it, and some people are just not too pleased at all. And so that's what I woke up to this morning. Trying to get the pulse of the people, not all people, of course. Everybody's not jumping online. They're not interested in being online, expressing their opinion. But those who are, they have very strong opinionations. They're very strong opinionated. So where I stand on it is I don't care for, I would say, Donald Trump's personality, the way he displayed himself the first when he was number 45. He would get on Twitter and he just tweeted. He felt comfortable with tweeting out all of his thoughts. And I didn't think that that was such a good thing for somebody who's in the highest office of the land to express himself in that manner. He can be pretty crass and crude in his statements. And I think that that is off-putting for a lot of people. It's just the way he's very candid. But also, I was not displeased in his administration when he was president and the state of the economy when he was president. But I'm with a lot of people in how he presents himself as a person. So this time, I was not disappointed to hear that he won. Looking forward to and hoping that he will turn the economy around. I don't think anybody would be disappointed in that. The average citizen who's out here struggling, having a very difficult time just to feed themselves and their family, being jeopardized with their housing situations. And so I don't think anybody is grievous about that. I hope that they're not. But there's other matters that each candidate stood for that some people would feel like Kamala Harris would have been a better choice, especially when it comes to, I would say, racial unity and social matters, that she probably would have been a better choice. She could have been, I don't know that. But for policy wise, from how I saw that she presented herself during her candidacy, she didn't sound like a strong candidate, even though she could have been. But it's for the people to make an assessment based on what a person presents. And it just didn't sound too convincing to me from what she presented. But what I want to share more of is from a Christian perspective. That's what my channel is about, trying to uphold the principles of Jesus. And we that are in the body, where we are supposed to and where we're told to stand. We have to live in community and we have to be involved in community. There's no point in sticking your head in the sand and pretending like we don't know what's going on around us. Feel like I got a little something on my eyelash. We need to know what's going on in our community and try to vote the platform that best represent your values, even though no platform is going to be perfect. No candidate is going to be perfect, local level or federal level, and anything in between is just not. But you have to try to make your best determination according to voting for your personal values. And from what I understand from the outpour of reactions this morning going on different platforms like Twitter and here on YouTube, hearing the people's reactions, I was kind of disappointed in what I heard and did not so because they was expressive leading up to this. Two things I want to bring out that I heard on TikTok. And this for, again, bringing this out just because of the this is just the identity of the people. Okay, I'm not interested in necessarily beating up on people. There's no point in that. We are a unity of Americans here. And here a Black lady said, Black women, you need to sit out. We was disappointed. We did not get what we wanted. And America has spoken, and they spoke against us. Is her expression. And so we're tired of fighting for everybody. The Black woman is always heralding and championing everybody else's causes. We stand up and we show up for everybody, but nobody shows up for us. And this time is no different. We was disappointed. So what we're going to do, and Black women, what I need you to do, now they're making their TikTok reels, right? So she was saying, I better not hear of nobody going out in the street protesting for nothing. We need to sit this 4 years out and just keep your mouth buttoned. Be quiet and don't show up for nobody, because nobody shows up for us. I did not agree with that. I did not agree with that. Because coming up to this, you remember during the campaigning, there was multiple Zoom calls of different demographic of people, and they're supporting Kamala Harris, and they're raising all these just conglomerates of money, gobs and gobs of money to support a campaign. I'm not against people supporting who they want to support, but part of the announcement or the rallying call was for unity, saying that we need to unify and we need to bring this country back to a place where we can harmonize and come into togetherness as a country. So unity is necessary to propel the nation forward was one of the statements. So are you saying that unity is no longer the goal? We don't need to galvanize to bring the country together. It does not matter who's in the White House when it comes to the individual private citizens. We get to stand up and speak up for ourselves. Each woman, each man gets to do that. Not the president who is the overall leader, executive position of this country. They don't determine whether we unify. So one of the campaigns was Win with Black women. And then the white women was calling for a unity amongst white women. We need to galvanize and stand behind Black women. Well, I didn't understand that this campaign, that Kamala was supposed to represent the Black woman. I understood that at one point, she was saying that her ethnicity, part of her ethnicity was Black. That's fine. That's her business and her life. That's fine. I'm not fighting against that. But for Black women to say, this is our chance. This woman is representing Black people. And so we're going to unify and we're going to present a campaign or a mantra of win with Black women, win with Black women. Black men wasn't even a part of that. It was supposed to be for Black women. And then white women want to come along and say, well, white women, let's get together and we're going to stand with the Black women. So now white men are not a part of that. So then the Latin women seem to follow suit behind that. Let's get behind the women movement. So this became a whole woman thing. So where's the unity? So it seemed one-sided right there. So the outcry of emotion and expressions this morning, again, the women getting on TikTok said, let's shut down. We don't need to say anything. Let's just back out of it. Then how do you show up if you're going to back out? Then it didn't sound like you really wanted unity. So, but what I want to bring to this point also, you remember when in the story of Jesus and Barabbas, somebody had to be chosen. And the people, or rather the religious community, they influenced the citizens to call for the release of Barabbas. So you had a hardened criminal that they was calling for to be released. He was a known criminal. And to crucify an innocent man, a man of peace, a man of innocence. It was not really, they hated both. Particularly the religious community, the religious leaders. Both was hated. They didn't want either one of them. Jesus could have went up and Barabbas could have went up with him. But somebody had to be released. So they chose one over the other, even though they didn't want either one of them. It seemed to me, just my observation, you all, that was the same thing going on with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Even the people who raised the globs of money, it didn't seem that they really wanted either one of them, Kamala nor Donald Trump. But since the vitriol and the hate was so strong for Donald Trump, we'll just take Kamala. We'll just take her. We got to lay our support behind somebody, and he's not it. Because even following that, it's a horrible thing when the objective views are clouded by emotions. When you hate a person so much that you're willing to sacrifice, and it calls to question, where's your values? Remember Christians? Because Christians is involved in this too. Not just the Christian body who I'm addressing right here. Where are your values? With God. Your support and your loyalty is supposed to lie with God. But you would rather go to what color? So you have a polytheistic God system. Your color is your God. Your gender is your God. And then you're talking about the creator God. Because you'd rather stand for this woman. And from the campaign, the talking points that I heard through her campaign, it didn't support some God-honored values. But they rather stand with a proclaimed ethnicity and gender. Here it is, when Jesus went up for crucifixion, the religious body turned their back on him, which they had already done. So in this case, it seems like there was a swap of goats. There was a scapegoat and a released goat. Kamala Harris got to be the released goat. And Donald Trump is still pretty much the crucified goat. Anytime there was 2 assassination attempts made on this man's life, who's to say there would not be more just because he is one? We've already had sitting presidents in this country who was assassinated. So he still could be the scapegoat. He's sitting in the place of a scapegoat while she has been the released goat. She gets to return back home through her disappointment, while he still gets to be in the public spotlight with all this spotlight attention on him. All plots and plans, not of everybody, but there's groups, there's big conglomerates of people who still don't like this man. Who's to say what's still being plotted and planned on against him? It doesn't matter what he puts in place, because he's still his personality still gonna show up, right? We don't know what he's gonna do on X. That was Twitter. That's what he did before. Tweet it out. Tweet, and tweet. Who's to say he won't return back to that? And have everybody on edge again, gritting their teeth. Why is this man presenting like this? Because just as you see on my thumbnail, there's a downcast in emotions right now. And amongst a lot of people, they are sorrowful to see this man in this position, that he is no good for America. It's values. People don't like God, actually, because it doesn't matter who is the president of this country. They don't get to run your house. They have some effect, but you get to govern. You get to decide what you're going to do and what you're going to stand for and what you're not going to stand for in your home, in your personal life. Not the president of the United States of America. The president is not America's problem, necessarily. We individual private citizens are our own problem. And it starts inter-community. Black people is black people's problem. White people is white people's problem. Hispanic, Latinx people is their own problem. Asian people is their own problem internally. Calling for unity. Is there really unity? I dare to say I don't see much unity. There's a tearing down and a ripping, and it starts in our Christian fellowships of faith, even in the pulpits, calling for a disunity. I heard ministers during this campaign season talking to their congregants, their parishioners. We need to stand together as a people. Well, what kind of talk is this? That's divisive talk. Are you standing for Jesus or some type of placebo Jesus? What kind of Jesus is this? Is this a Barabbas Jesus who you're talking to? Who you need to stand together with? Or the Lord of Lords, who calls you to stand with him and turn because those who's a friend to the world is an enemy to God. If you go into many of these Christian fellowships, I don't know outside of Christian faith, many of those could be too in other faith systems, but these Christian fellowships that I have been a part of and here online and different things is antichrist. They're against God and telling people how to be divisive and mean, not to come together in unity for the better good of humanity. They're looking out for pockets of people. I want to call the Christian body back to Jesus. The Jesus who's Lord of Lord, not the Barabbas type Jesus. A placebo Jesus. Yeah, the Zoom calls didn't present anything that was positive that I saw. It was a self-love, just individuals. And then again, they call it unity. Let's stand. No. There was none that was visible. You was calling for separatism. And everybody come and rally and galvanize and support my separatism. Okay, had your backing from day one. Okay. I wouldn't call him totally innocent. We have to evaluate every president's platform and what they are trying to do, because it affects or it supports us as American citizens. We have to stay involved, pay attention. He can't do everything perfect. Nobody's going to do that. But I pray for the man's safety, because every life matters. I do pray for his safety. That I think it was utterly ridiculous to put those two assassination attempts on that man's life. To hate a person with such vitriol, you rather go after their life, just to lead them totally off the earth because you don't want them to sit in a particular seat. Goodness gracious, how mean would people be? Seems like there's something greater at stake here. Is it just about money and power? People are that afraid of him? What is he going to do? What do they think he's going to do? They get to impeach him if he's going to be that horrible. He's going to do criminal acts. Isn't that a possibility? So what are they so intimidated about that some people, of course not all, will want this man gone? The man that used to be. Because again, I don't think that too many people who was even supporting Kamala really wanted her there. I couldn't see her meeting with heads of foreign states and being able to represent America well. She didn't present herself here amongst American citizens well. Could have been a total turnaround. She could have stepped up and surprised everybody. I don't know. But I want to encourage you all. We still need to. We are American citizens. We are the fabric of America, every single one of us. We need each other, whether we know it or not. We get to make the decision. Not one person make the decision. We show them how we're going to unify, how we show up, not sit back and say, well, we're going to check out for the next 4 years. We're just going to be silent. We're not going to support anything because we was disappointed. Disappointed how? Was you disappointed in a color? Then you were standing for the wrong thing. Color is supposed to disappoint you every time, whatever somebody's color is. We got to wear around something. There's no opaque people, is there? You got to wear something. Then reaching back in the past, said, well, our foreparents did this and they suffered this way, but you get to live your experience right here, right now. God gave you opportunity. You cannot go and fight somebody else's fight. You don't even fight your own parents' fight if your mom and dad got divorced. Well, some people want to get in there and be wounded for dad and wounded for mom, but that was your mom and dad's marriage. You're going to reach back 40, 50, 60 years to try to fight somebody else's fight. Isn't that a spit in God's face? When he gave you opportunities to stand up and represent yourself as a woman and a man, you get to have a footprint right now and speak up for yourself and show up for yourself. And you're going to show up disgruntled and walk around and saying, well, nobody supports us. They don't show up for us. Show up for what you on what? What are you doing? Maybe people are rationalizing and using the logic on what you're talking about and not looking at and concerned about your color. They don't see whatever you're trying to present as rational. Maybe is that a possibility too? Are they supposed to just ignore what you're talking about and say, oh, but they're that color? So no. Thank you all for showing up here, you all. Let's stand for Jesus. Stand for Jesus. Stand for the principles of Jesus at your local level, state level, federal level. Examine the policies, their platform. Thank you all for showing up. I sure appreciate you all. I hope that my facial expression wasn't, that's not how I intend to show up. But I thought it was just very disheartening that the people are coming out and speaking in a place of, we don't have support. Yes, you do. You have to see it that way, though. You have to choose to participate in your own life. It's your life. Show up. Stand up and speak up. It's unity, remember. Take care, you all.